let you know.
Matching hundreds. It's the coach.
And, Coach, we are down on the Bayou as you get a look inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It's the first weekend of autumn, and the NFL is in full swing as off we go on EA Sports. This one taken from the 7. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. And here come the Saints for their opening drive. And leading them out there, we get a look at their 6'3" quarterback.
I read something prepping for this game that he said prior to, and I think he really said it a few months ago, where he talked about he wants to have the type of season that at the end, he's buying gifts for all the guys who have helped him along the way. And I know that the team wants to hold him to that and really get into his wallet. But that's what good leadership gives you. You know, at the end of the season, because you've done a great job, QB, he's usually the guy who springs for the good stuff.
Throwing to start the drive. Snyder. Pressure brought in, and the Falcons get there for the sack. Vic Beasley in there to sack him for a loss of 6.
And so much for that great field position to start the game. Now they're way behind the sticks. Can't wait to see what their second down call is going to look like now.
Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. From the gun, Snyder looking middle. It's caught by Gronkowski. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
So trouble already here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 9.
All right, here we go.
Operating from the gun, Snyder. And this is going to be incomplete.
And 3rd down is a key down in any game you play. And 3rd down defense, something we've got to watch in this one. Got to be effective on the passing downs. That's a pretty good first step right there.
Here's Thomas Morstead on now to punt it away on 4th down. And no one there to stop it. Hits at the 8, but it carries all the way into the end zone for a touchback. So here come the Falcons now to get the football for the first time. They'll be led out by the #1 overall pick of the 2008 draft, the man they call Matty Ice, quarterback Matt Ryan.
It was fun getting ready for this game, wasn't it? Because normally we talk to the coaches and the players. I think you and I asked to talk to the trainer to see how his arm is going to be.
A lot of ice after last week.
After last week's game, boy, what a performance that was. And you know who else is having fun? Receivers. Because they get a chance to do what they do best, which is go out and catch the ball.
Yeah, and that last week effort, he threw for well over 400 yards. Now a play fake here on 1st down. And finding the tight end Hooper. And down he'll go at the 25. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. Here now the offensive starters for Atlanta.
It's real easy to express how much you love about Julio Jones' game, because when you watch him perform, you see a little bit of everything. You see speed, you see strength, you see the power with the run after catch. But what you don't see is the work he puts in during the week, and you also don't see this. A #1 receiver, one of the best in the league, that doesn't act like a diva.
He completes it to Julio Jones. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Ryan to Jones, the Falcon connection there for a first. We just highlighted him in the starting lineup. He proves why with a big catch one play later for a 1st down.
Yeah, to paraphrase some of the offensive coaches that we've met along the way, when they throw the football, they're thinking 1st downs or touchdowns. I think the touchdowns are in his future in this game.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. On first down, Ryan. Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call.
Holding offense.
So apparently some grabbing there in the middle of the O-line.
I've often wondered why that doesn't happen more often for guys that play center. Having to snap the ball and then trying to get your hands into the proper position, that's difficult to do. He got caught that time.
On the crossing route, he hits his man, Amari Cooper. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. That one goes for 24 yards. So Amari Cooper out of Northwestern High School in Miami making a nice play there.
And it's so funny that when I was going through the draft process when he came out of Alabama and was inquiring about him and his skills, they say it all began back in Miami. He really became a pro receiver at a young age because of his attention to detail and precision. But don't forget his athletic ability. That's what made that catch there.
And he did spend 1 year with Teddy Bridgewater as his quarterback there, so that helped back in high school. From midfield now, here's Ryan. Man open, that's Calvin Ridley. Touchdown, Falcons! Calvin Ridley, his second touchdown on the season. And the Falcons have taken the early lead. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
Eddie Pinheiro now for the extra point. Point after, right down the middle. And that makes the score 7-0. So that drive, 4 plays. And the Falcons score to cap it off. Here's Bosher to kick it away. This fielded at the 2. Get a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. The Saints coming out now to take the field and hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs. And that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
Looking to throw. Snyder escapes the sack. But he can't get away forever, and down he goes. Tack McKinley. He's the one that got to him. He takes him down for a loss of 9.
2 sacks last week. Another one right here. He's been unblockable lately, and I think that goes all the way back to not just his offseason, but the film study he's been doing during the week, because I think he's found matchups that he likes, and he's capitalizing.
And a few times he's even defeated double teams. He doesn't care at this point. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here.
Set! Green, 39!
From the gun, Snyder. That's caught by Meredith right side. And he'll go down just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. And a look now at the offense for New Orleans.
Let's spotlight Odell Beckham Jr., who had a 1,000-yard season his first year in the league, despite not playing a full season, and that announced his presence with authority. How about this? The former cover athlete from Madden NFL 16, he's done nothing but pile up 1,000-yard seasons since.
Throwing on 3rd and long. Snyder. And this one is incomplete. And this pass defense, they were sensational in the win last week, and they're looking good here so far in this first quarter.
You know, we often talk about how offenses get locked in, and that runs over multiple games where they're really, you know, in that zone. Defenses can be the exact same way, and I think we're seeing an example of it here.
Here's Thomas Morstead now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Well, that'll be put in the books as a 53-yard punt. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. Amari Cooper and the rest of the offense heading back out there now. The early returns for him, very good to start this season. Interesting to see if he can keep up that torrid pace.
Yeah, when you're talking about averaging 100 yards a game as a receiver, extrapolate that over 16 games, and you're having a monster season. So, yeah, you love what he's doing early, but I think it's got to go back to the offseason, doesn't it? It's got to go back to the roots, spending time with the guy who's going to throw the ball to him, spending time watching tape, spending time reading defenses, and, of course, getting himself ready to play.
Well, look now at the defensive starters for the Saints. They really played well in that win last week against Miami.
Have to admit, I was extremely impressed by what I saw. They ended up getting 4 sacks in the game, stayed in the face of the quarterback the entire time, made it difficult for him to step up and find receivers downfield.
And that's what they told us this week, that pressure on the QB is key. Now Ryan on 2nd down. And he'll hit the slant route. That's caught by Cooper. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. The quick slant, good for 8 and a first.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Ryan in the offense with a 1st and 10. And he's a perfect 5 for 5 here to begin the game. Coleman now. And he'll get this one up to about the 39 here. Oh, look at the numbers for Coleman in last week's game. 17 carries, 101 yards.
They look like a team that really emphasized the running game in the offseason. They were going to build around it. Didn't matter if they were going to run gap scheme, power scheme, whatever. They've got a runner who finds yardage if you give him just a little bit of space.
He was solid last week, over 100 yards in their victory on the ground. They want to get that going again.
Absolutely. What they also understand is that from week to week, it's not necessarily the same, but they want it to be, right? What they saw last week on the ground, they want to see in this game as well. Not too many more ideal situations in 2nd and 2 in order to try and pick up a first down. They ran it and picked it up.
They'll run for the first time with Devontae Freeman. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Demario Davis there on the stop.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
To throw is Ryan. And he overshot him there. It's out of bounds, incomplete.
How about this offense already feeling good about themselves with a touchdown already in their first drive? They've certainly come out firing, even though that one was incomplete.
With the 7-0 lead, more apt to take a shot like that. Looking for Cooper, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Marcus Williams. And his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line. Intended that time for Cooper.
That was a really nice interception. I think it illustrates the differences between playing man and playing zone. When you're in man, all you're focused on is the receiver in front of you. But when you're in zone, you're allowed to read the quarterback's eyes and go to the ball. That's exactly what happened on that play.
Now the Saints, they trot their offense out here. This is their 3rd drive. Right now, maybe not about points, just about getting something. They haven't gotten a first down yet in this game.
It's a mental barrier you don't think about until you go a couple of drives without getting a first down. Then all of a sudden it looms big. It gets harder and harder to actually attain that first down.
On first down, Snyder, and his throw is incomplete. The target that time, Michael Thomas, and that'll bring up 2nd down. Time to see how Atlanta will line up defensively. And they've been excellent against the pass, the number 6 unit in the NFL.
And I'm struggling a little bit trying to really categorize this crew. They're top 10 in the league against the pass, but the bottom half of the league in sacking the quarterback. That doesn't make sense. Imagine if this group ever put pressure on the QB, they'd easily move into the top 5.
Hey, here we go now. Blue 90. Blue 90.
They'll run it for the first time with Alvin Kamara. And he'll be brought down just shy of the 45. 2nd down, a little more productive than first. 7 yards on the gain. It gets him to 3rd and 3 now.
Well, this play sequence was really kind of called in reverse. Incomplete pass on 1st and 10. Nice run on 2nd and 10 when probably everyone was expecting him to throw the football. Now, if you're the defense, what are they going to do on 3rd down? You're a little off balance.
He finds Beckham complete. First catch there for OBJ, and that good for a 1st down.
I don't care who you put on him, he's going to be a handful in one-on-one throws.
Yeah, right now, you're right. They're in man-to-man. Maybe needs some safety help.
I would say that'd be a good idea. Double team him somehow. I'm going to have to make someone else beat me rather than let him shred my defense.
Now a 1st down carry. It's Kamara. And little room to maneuver there. He gets it down to about the 39. And after getting tackled, he's still down and looking very slow to get up. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. A first carry for Samaje Perine. And little room to maneuver there. He gets it down to about the 39. Back-to-back 1-yard runs here, so that leaves him with a 3rd down and 8.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
To throw on 3rd down. Snyder. That's complete to Meredith. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. And that one good for 16 yards and a 1st.
Really? Really? Did we just see that? That's a big catch. One-handed, I might add, to pick up a 1st down.
I was going to say, on 3rd down for the defense, it's one thing to give up a reception. You just kind of shake your head on a one-handed catch to pick up the 1st. Now Perine. And he'll keep it moving down to the 15-yard line. A good run there on 1st down, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 2.
Someone's looking fresh, and this O-line is definitely licking their chops. Everyone likes to run block. If you're an offensive lineman, nice early burst, nice gain, too.
And he'll get it here to the 10-yard line. 4 yards on the play, and that leads to the 1st and goal.
We always talk about good down and distance, allowing offenses to expand their playbook. Well, 2nd and 2, that means your playbook's wide open. You can run just about anything. But a lot of times, the play caller, he just looks down at his sheet, sees the short yardage runs, and goes to one of those.
They've made goal line offense a priority on the practice field this week. This is exactly the situation they've been prepping for. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. He'll get 6 on the ground there, and it'll be 2nd and goal coming up.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
2nd and goal from inside the 5. They'll send Beckham alone to the left side. To throw on 2nd down. Snyder, and he can't hang on. That's definitely going to be one he wishes he had back. Incomplete in the end zone.
When you get your backs in the shadow of your goal line, you've got to be physical in that situation because there's not a whole lot of space, not a lot of wild plays that can be run there.
And down he goes. Pressure gets him back at the 14. Tech McKinley in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year.
We always talk about how teams are so competitively matched and you just want to make those plays that give you an advantage. How about right here? The difference between letting them score a touchdown versus holding them to a field goal? That's absolutely huge with the play he just made.
And you know he hated taking the loss there on 3rd down. Now Lutz for the field goal try. And Lutz puts this one through. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. A dozen plays on that drive that ends with the field goal.
Let's go ahead and break out some of the old chestnuts here, right, partner? Keep the ball in front, rally to it, and make the tackle, right? No big plays given up, no balls over your head. Bend, don't break.
Hold on. Chestnuts?
You like
Come
that
on.
one?
What does that mean, break out? That just because you break chestnuts?
I'm not sure about that, but I'm just going with why they said that. I have no idea.
And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Matt Ryan and the offense heading back onto the field. He'll look to shake off the interception on the opening drive. He should at least be comforted that it resulted in 3, not 6.
And if I were him, I would be the guy all the way out on the field greeting my defense now, saying, thanks a lot. You held them to a field goal after I turned it over. That's a big defensive stand for them. He needs to go out now and make up for what he did on the first drive.
Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Phillips. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. And before they can get settled in here, time expires on the first quarter of action. 7-3 the score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this.
The NFL on EA Sports is presented by Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
Alongside Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin, it's the Falcons in possession to begin quarter number 2. They've got a 2nd down at 5 here to start things out. Here's Ryan. On the screen, this is Coleman. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
That was a beautifully executed screen pass. Let the rushers get upfield. The blocking forms in front. Lofted it to the runner. And now, not only does he have open space in front of him, he's got an escort as well, and they pick up big yardage.
Here's Coleman. And he's going to take this across the 50 and into Saints territory. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues. This is Coleman fighting his way down to about the 35-yard line. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
Whenever we talk about the best strong safeties, one word constantly comes up, and that's instinct. Being able to diagnose run or pass and make the appropriate moves.
He crashed down hard there. He was ready for that running play. And they went for a big play through the air on 2nd down. Couldn't connect. Now it's 3rd.
Those throwing windows get a lot tighter near the end zone, don't they? And here's the thing. You already probably have 3 points in your hip pocket. You force a throw here and give up an interception, you come away with nothing.
Especially tough in the middle third of the field where he threw that one. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Holding offense.
That hold coming from the left side of the line.
Hands got caught in the cookie jar on that one, and the flag came out. Penalty against him.
3rd and long. It's Ryan. And he's got a man, Calvin Ridley. Touchdown, Falcons. Calvin Ridley, his 2nd touchdown of the game, his 3rd on the year. And the Falcons will add on to their lead. Now he's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what can still come. I mean, 2 touchdowns already here through the 2nd quarter. There could be plenty more before this game is over.
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. Extra point right down the middle. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Here's Bosher to kick it away. This will be fielded at the 6 line. Now out comes their leader and the captain of this offense back onto the field. And I guess the question, Charles, is what's the formula for keeping him better protected? Because as we see, the protection, it struggled.
And normally what you get is renewed determination. When the big guy gets hit, that usually sparks people. Hey, we can't let this happen anymore. They take it personally. He's not supposed to be on the ground, but that hasn't been the case so far in this game. So maybe they've got to figure out how do they get rid of the ball faster to help out the offensive line so he doesn't get hit as much.
And we'll see if they can keep him off the ground now going forward.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
Now let's go.
They'll run it here with Pirine. Call it a gain of 4 there, so it sets up a big play here. 3rd and a yard.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
319. 319.
Now a carry for Pirine. And he's going to have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line. Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains.
We all love to have a home run hitter in the backfield. Guy can take it the distance. But a short yardage, trying to pick up first downs, that big guy, always a nice luxury to have, isn't he?
On 1st and 10, Snyder throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. A good pickup there of 20 yards.
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there, getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get it to him in space, let him use his leg.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive end dropping out in a zone blitz, he's going to win that battle just about every time.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Throwing on 1st down. Snyder. Blitz coming, and down he goes.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing 2nd and a bundle. Operating from the gun. Snyder. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. He'll get it to the 40. Sweet little move in there, but couldn't get much yardage out of it. It's a 4-yard pickup, and they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
The Saints on 3rd down. They've hit it 50%, 3 of 6 to this point. This will be 3rd and 15.
Hurry up, here we go.
From the gun, Snyder finding his safety valve here. That's complete. Nothing doing on that one, and it'll be 4th down. The defense loves to hang their hat on that, don't they? You get a guy that catches the ball, but you stop him for no gain.
Without a doubt, because they're also used to trying to catch people after the catch, and they miss. And that turns into what? A huge play. We've seen it so many times. In this case, though, catch was made, put down right on the spot.
That's running out of steam, and it won't get there. He left it just short, No good, and this score will stay right where it is.
Everything looked good. Good snap, good hold. Sometimes, though, the ball just doesn't want to go where you want it. And this one winds up no good.
Out comes Calvin Ridley and the offense for their next drive. We're in the second quarter. He already has 2 touchdowns. We know how good he is. That's well documented. How do you contain him?
We know he's a nightmare. So in this situation, I would go ahead and double him, maybe even have a third person in the area, and try and dissuade them from throwing him the football. Make someone else beat me for a while, because I don't know that their talents are his. Because when he gets his hands on the ball, he breaks down my entire D. Someone else, they may not make the same type of a play.
Well, we know his talents are very good. On second down, Freeman. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of the yardage has come through the air. But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
Coleman. Touchdown, Falcons. Tevin Coleman, his second touchdown on the season. And the Falcons will extend their lead.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run. And one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line has to get a lot of credit. But for big runs to occur, the wide receivers have to block well downfield.
And then you have to have a good guy carrying the ball too, right?
Oh, without a doubt. You need that difference maker lugging the rock.
Extra point splits the uprights, and the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Scoring summary, 3-play drive, and Tevin Coleman polished it off with a touchdown run. Here's Bosher to kick it away. This is taken at the 3. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. The Saints offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. And they had compiled a pretty long drive last time. Unfortunately, though, it ended with no points after the missed field goal.
And that can hurt the psyche of a team because as they drove downfield, you know you're never supposed to count points in your mind until they go up on the board. But let's face it, we've been there. We've seen teams before. They were counting on those points. They didn't get them. Can they come back now, start over?
And it's a fumble. And the Falcons say they have it. They do. Now it looks like we'll get a timeout as there's a Saints player down here on the field. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. So we've got a challenge. Our referee's going to take another look on the tablet. He's going to be watching to see if the knee was down prior to the ball coming out.
Oh, I love what you just said there. You nailed it because if the ball's shifting or moving before the knee or any other part of the body hits the ground, then that'll be considered a fumble.
The drive starts with a handoff to P-Rod. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. It'll go as a gain of 6 that time, and it moves the chains as well.
You know what really fires up offensive linemen? When the guy that is carrying the ball behind them can create his own space and break a tackle along the way.
Here we go now. Blue, line it.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he stopped immediately there. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
Hurry up, here we go. Blue, line it.
Looking to throw on second down. Snyder, nearly picked. And maybe lucky there. This guy doesn't drop many defensively. Third down. Some of the fans here don't seem too happy about what we've seen in this first half.
No, not at all, and I understand why. They've looked lethargic, out of sync, and it shows on the scoreboard.
The Saints on third down, 3 for 7 so far in this game. This is 3rd and 10.
Set. Blue 90. Blue 90.
Operating from the gun, Snyder. And the third down pass falls incomplete. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. Matt Ryan and the offense heading back onto the field. And he's looked pretty good. Does have the 1 interception, but 2 touchdown passes so far. Your analysis?
They'll take the offset. When you talk about throwing 2 touchdown passes, no one wants to see an interception thrown, but those things happen in the course of a ball game and over the course of a season. But throwing 2 touchdown passes, that's why the team has an advantage.
And he coughed it up. But the Falcons were able to recover, so they will keep possession. So it goes as a fumble, but the key thing, not a fumble loss.
Yeah, that stat's big, isn't it? I mean, I remember watching teams play. The ball might be on the ground a number of times during the game, but the other team doesn't get it. That's a huge difference in the ball game. And in this case, they were able to retain possession.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, it's Ryan. Incomplete. The rookie had it and lost it there. And it'll be 2nd down.
A pretty rocky start in this game for the guy throwing the ball. Already has thrown 1 interception. Almost threw a second one right there. All he's doing right now is giving the defense a whole lot of confidence.
And he will find Ridley on the left side. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. That'll put him over 100 yards receiving now here in this first half of action. And they'll go on the ground. And he's going to take this across the 50 and into Saints territory. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9. And
he'll be brought down, it looks like right at the 40. And they just keep marching right along. First down on a pickup of 8 there. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
2 minutes to go here in the first half. We're back to New Orleans after this. Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. Throwing now, Ryan on first down. And this is a rocket pulled in by Cooper, complete. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. Now Ryan. Over the middle, that's caught by Ridley. And he's going to get it down to the 33-yard line here. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up 3rd down.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tougher, guys trying to get to the football.
They get 6 on the pickup there as the drive will continue.
Now that's absolutely frustrating for a defender. Had a chance to get him on the ground before he got to the sideline, but what great vision and understanding where he is on the field as he headed for the marker and picked up the first down.
Ryan in the offense with a 1st and 10, and he's 6 of 7 now on this drive. Now they'll run on the draw, and he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. They give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6. And before this 2nd down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. On 2nd down, Ryan going underneath. It's Coleman. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. The Falcons going to use the 2nd of their timeouts, as the clock will stop with 55 seconds to go until halftime. So we're back in the offense getting set following the call of that timeout. Ryan now to throw on 3rd down. And that'll be hauled in by the tight end. It's Hooper for the Falcon touchdown. Matt Ryan now 3 first-half touchdown passes. And the Falcons will add on to their lead.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that can finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs. Pinheiro now to add the extra point. Point after, right down the middle. And the route is on here in this first half. So that one a long 11-play drive. And the end result, an Atlanta touchdown. Here's Bosher to kick it away. This is taken at the 3. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the 2nd half. Managing risk is a big decision here.
Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Thomas, the intended target. That'll bring up 2nd down.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the 2nd quarter, a lot of time to change things. Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Snyder, and the hit jarred loose. It's incomplete.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Falcons going to use their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with 33 seconds to go in the first half. So a defensive timeout, chance to regather, regroup, and get set as we resume action. And a nice job here to down this one right on the 5-yard line. Here comes the Falcon offense now as they get set to take over here. And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half and get on out and talk about it.
7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. 2nd and 3. So we have reached halftime now with the visiting Falcons out on top. As we send you on over to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman in our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome in, everyone, to our EA Sports Halftime Report. Let's get you caught up on what's going on around the NFL.
And we will skip the highlight show this week. Get right back to this Week 3 matchup. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here are the Falcons as their offense heads back onto the field. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. And Jones has it over the middle. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. A gain of 6 there on first.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice gain.
Ready, back 25. Look out!
Ryan now off the bootleg. And he can't escape the pressure. Ryan goes down. Chalk that up as their first sack in this game, and they tallied 4 a week ago.
And probably not as much exultation in that sack as what took us so long. Because when you get 4 the previous week, you're counting on continuing that momentum. They didn't get that done in the first half of the game. Let's see now if they start to bring even more exotic pressure towards the quarterback.
So the sack pushes him back, and now 3rd and long for Ryan and the Falcons. From the gun, it's Ryan. Drops it off for Coleman. And he gets this up just shy of the 30 to the 29 before he's out of bounds. They'll give him 8 on the play, and it'll be 4th down.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is...
Oh, here's pressure, and the Saints block it. So much for pinning him really deep. Short punt could have pinned him inside the 10. Now great field position the other way.
It's never good when you're punting the ball and your eyes see the ball go back behind you.
No.
And however form, whether it's over your head or to the side, never good. Now it becomes a race to get to the football so they don't pick it up and take it all the way.
Now the attention turns to the Saints offense getting ready for their first possession of the second half. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting. Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
They come out here in the eye. They'll run again with Perine. And he takes it across and into the end zone. Touchdown, Saints. A great play there. His first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Saints make some inroads here to that deficit.
And we know they won't get their names in the stat sheet, but the offensive line has to get all the credit for that touchdown run. Tremendous job of blocking, paving the way for the 6 points.
Will Lutz on for the point after. Lutz with the extra point, and the lead is down to 28-10. Well, that drive started with not a whole lot of real estate in front of them. In plus territory, excellent field position. 2 plays later, pay dirt. Lutz now to kick this one away. Returning it, John Ross. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. And here now come the Falcons. Ryan will bring the Falcons up now 1st and 10, just shy of the 30. They begin the drive with Coleman. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. 10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a first down.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
Right back to him on first down. And he's going to bull his way forward to the 48. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them.
Hey, let's go.
On 2nd down, here's Ryan. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 4, good enough to earn him yet another first down. This is Freeman on 1st and 10. And just a short gain that time as they're able to get him down. Tackle there going to Marshawn Lattimore.
3rd quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Caught on the right side by Jones. No gain that time on the completion, and it'll be 3rd down.
Pass complete, but no gain.
No yards.
Yeah.
So you file that as unsuccessful.
Yeah, you do, don't you? Except on the stats, throwing the ball.
Get a completion.
You get a catch.
Yeah.
But still,
no yardage.
Okay.
And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. It's a gain of 17, and it'll give him a first down. They were in zone defensively, went with a crossing route. It's always interesting to watch that chess match.
Yeah, and I think safeties don't mind crossing routes against zone, because eventually you're going to run into their territory, and that's when they lick their chops in order to get the big hit or a play on the ball.
Offensively, nice execution to find a hole, make the catch. Here's Ryan. Over the middle, that's caught by Ross. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And a nice pickup there as he'll take it from the 10 down to the 5-yard line.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. And he gets halfway home from the 4 down to the 2-yard line.
Well, he did get a taste the previous week. He got into the end zone trying his best to get there in this game. So far, he's been denied.
They snap it at 1. Now Ryan. And this is caught for a Falcon touchdown. Matt Ryan connecting on his 4th touchdown pass of the ball game. And the Falcons will extend their lead.
You have fun with this one, partner?
I am. I mean, he's been fun to watch under center.
We always talk about, getting to the next level, right? When we see people get into the zone, this guy's in the master class right now. What a performance he's putting on, just carving them up.
4 touchdown passes. Carving him up is right. Seems like everything he throws is going to be a completion and going in the end zone. Extra point right down the middle. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. This is fielded a couple yards deep. Oh, and now some space to operate. And I think he's going to go. They're not going to get him. Touchdown. And the New Orleans Saints put 6 up on the board.
That was a special return, and it happened because he's a special returner. He has to have that approval from his special teams coach's head coach to bring it out of the end zone.
But let's be honest, a lot of times when they bring it out of the end zone like he did there, they don't have approval. I mean, I think a lot of times they do, but correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes it's just a guy getting a feel, right?
You're exactly right. What's the old adage? Sometimes you just have to know when to break the rules, and if you do, you're taking on some responsibility, but he was happy to do so there.
Lutz good on the extra point. And that'll cut the lead down to 18. That'll be taken in the end zone. And a couple yards deep, he'll go to a knee. He won't return it. And they'll take it out to the 25. We get a look at the Saints defense as they file into position. They're trailing on the scoreboard. Now, they had to watch that last drive, then they come out here. Defensively, when you played, did you like being out there defensively to start the second half or wait to drive?
I wanted to be out there right away. Come out of the locker room, get right back into the flow of the game, because sometimes when you sat around, you liked it when your offense gave you a long drive, but it made it a little bit tougher to get out on the field.
Well, it's the second drive here. We'll see how they respond. That throw good for 4. It's second down. Second and 6, just inside the 30. Ryan on the handoff. It's Freeman. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. It's a 5-yard gain, but they'll still be a yard short here with third down now looming.
Getting had a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole, but it closed there quickly at the end. On third down, it's Coleman, and he's going to have the first down at about the 38. At 5 yards on the play there, the drive will continue.
Well, that last run makes this a 100-yard night. I've loved the way he's hit the holes. He's been quick, he's been decisive, and he's been a whole lot of fun to watch.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. They'll throw on first down with Ryan. And he will find Ridley. That's complete. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 18 yards the gain for number 18.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
A pair of first downs gives him a 1st and 10 up at the 44. And they'll go with a ground attack here. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It's a 6-yard pickup, but it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
To throw on second down. Ryan. It's complete on the bubble screen. That's Jones. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 41. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And that'll bring up a 3rd down. And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way. Lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized, executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look great in film.
To the left side and complete for Amari Cooper. And they just keep marching right along. First down on a pickup of 8 there.
As an unbiased observer, I think it would have been interesting to see what they would have done if they hadn't gotten the first down there. But since they did, I guess the point is moot.
And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Calvin Ridley, 33 yards. And the Falcons will add on to their lead. And let's count them up now. 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdown receptions for him in this game.
And just one shy of the NFL record. What a great performance. Going up and catching the football, creating space, and finding the end zone. That's what it's all about.
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. The extra point splits the uprights, and the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Here's Bosher to kick it away. This is fielded at the goal line. And an alley to run. A big seam, and he might go all the way. The 20. And he'll score. Touchdown, New Orleans. In for the score. And the Saints get a bit closer. It's been a back-and-forth game, a lot of points on the board, and that return right there kind of indicative of how this thing's gone.
Yeah, you've seen both teams go at it, and as you just pointed out, both of them have found the end zone. But just like in boxing, you know the blow that hurts the most? The one you didn't see coming, and that often is the case when it comes in special teams.
Lutz with the extra point, and that'll cut the lead down to 18. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's up over 100 yards, and he'll be looking to get in the end zone again.
Has a tremendous nose for it, doesn't he? The ability to pile up yardage and find the end zone, that's the combination you want in your runner.
That's a combination any coach wants, and we'll see if he can find that end zone once more. Ryan and the Falcons now come up 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. They'll start out on the ground with Coleman. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it 2nd down.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down. A very solid gain on that play.
2nd and 6, just inside the 30. Looking to throw on 2nd down. Ryan, and he gets this one to Ridley complete. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. 8th catch for him now. He's been a big factor. And it's a 1st down. 1 quarter remains here on a Sunday night. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now here live in New Orleans. It's the Falcons. They've got the football. They've got the lead as we get set to start the 4th. And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So up through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. They will run again with Coleman. And he's going to get this inside the 30. And a nice carry there of 15 yards.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
And on the ground they go with a running back. Down right around the 25. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. You can really tell right now both sides have amped up the aggressiveness. That time the offense winning the aggression battle.
And the defense was obviously aiming for the football, maybe a little bit more so than the runner himself, and that's why he was able to break through and get the gain that he did.
Now Ryan going to give it to Freeman. And down inside the 15 he goes. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what was said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3-and-out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down it.
From the red zone now, here's Ryan on 1st down. Now a loose football. Coleman lost it, but the Falcons were able to recover, so they will keep possession.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. So they had the big loss on that 1st down pass play and facing a 2nd and long. Here's Coleman on the toss. He takes this to the 15. A flashy juke. That got him a couple extra yards. 5 yards gets him back near the original line of scrimmage as he'll be left with a 3rd and long.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now. Now it's Ryan. Throwing for his running back, and he's got it complete. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. It'll be a 2-yard gain, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. Do you like the call?
I do. I think it's a high-percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the 1st down. In this case, it didn't happen.
The kick by Pinheiro is good. And that will stretch the lead up to 3 touchdowns now. It's a 21-point game. So the drive stalls out inside the 15-yard line, but they do get 3.
And I've talked with enough players nowadays, and when they have these types of kicks, that no one says to their guy, hey, that's just like making an extra point, piece of cake. Because the extra point is not a piece of cake anymore. But kicking a field goal from that distance, just give him confidence and let him knock it through.
Then he'll take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
3-19!
On 1st down, Snyder. He finds his target, Beckham. So a nice job to break the 1 tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. Just a yard on the catch there. It'll be 2nd and 9. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
They only got a yard out of that last completion. And that makes this 2nd and 9. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be tackled at about the 35. Give him 6 yards on the carry. It's going to be 3rd and 3 now.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. You'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
The Saints on 3rd down. They've converted a third of their opportunities, 3 for 9. Here it's 3rd and 3. From the gun, Snyder. And he can't quite pick it. No interception so far. That probably should have been their first, but at least it's 4th down.
Oh, man, that was close. The opportunity to change momentum, big play, right in his hands, unable to come down with it.
A sigh of relief, no doubt, on offense if that fell harmlessly to the ground. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. No reason not to try it there, and they do indeed convert on 4th.
Brandon, this is why play callers get the big bucks. This wasn't a 4th and inches call. You get into situations like 4th and 3, 4th and 4, you've got a tough decision to make. Very gutsy play here, and they pick up the first down.
On 1st and 10, Snyder, and he gets this inside the 35-yard line. 11 more on that one, and another first down.
Well, coaches always talk about finding balance on offense. I don't think you can get much more balance than this. Big-time run, big-time pass.
A 1-2 combination. Looked pretty good.
How about that? Let's see if they can continue to take that kind of a punch, though.
From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. 12 more yards there and another first down.
Watching that run takes me back to something a famous old coach once said. Any player he wants on his team, he wants him to be agile, mobile, and most definitely hostile.
Hurry up, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
Throwing on first down. Snyder, he'll drop it off to P-Rod, complete. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. It'll wind up being a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd and 12.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. Now flags will come in, and I think this is against the Saints up front.
False start, offense.
That's going to set him back 5 yards. And that false start penalty is certainly not helping their cause here. 2nd down and long.
All right, here we go.
Operating from the gun. Snyder. It's caught. Beckham. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. Call it a gain of 5. And they'll be facing a 3rd and 12.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
The Saints on 3rd down. They're hitting at just 30%, 3 for 10. This is 3rd down and 12.
Set. Blue 90.
From the gun, Snyder. Wide open receiver, complete. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
It's a gain of a couple, and it'll be 2nd and goal. The line of scrimmage, the 7 now on 2nd and goal.
Hurry up, here we go.
Movement there on the offensive line, a little quick, and a 5-yard penalty.
False start, offense.
And that'll be accepted, of course, and that moves him back 5. Things made a little more difficult after the false start as they try again on 2nd and goal.
Set. Green.
On the give, this is their fullback. And power running here down to the 6-yard line. He picks up 7 yards there, but they're still faced with a difficult 3rd and goal here.
They've definitely established a rhythm on this drive, moving the ball quite well. And big man with football is an integral part of the whole thing.
That's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. And this is going to result in losing yardage. They're driven back to the 8-yard line.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it.
And it's intercepted at the goal line. Ricardo Allen with a pick. And not much on the return there. He'll take it only up to the 9-yard line. This spot in the fourth quarter with that deficit, had to throw the football. Unfortunately, there's the risk of big turnover.
And you know you're going to be throwing against nickel, dime, all sorts of exotic defenses, but you have to do it anyway. Ordinarily, you might want to run the football a little bit, try and get them out of it. But as you noted, this time of the game, this point on the clock, had to throw it.
Atlanta now coming out on the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But you also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
And he'll take this one up to about the 13. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down. The fourth quarter here, they've got the lead. They want to keep it on the ground. That's what they're doing.
Smart football. Keep the clock grinding. Keep it going. But you got to figure now, they're going to see more people stacked up at the line of scrimmage as they try and bleed it out.
So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. And you'd have to figure they're just looking to burn these final 2 minutes away and get out of here with a victory. They stay on the ground. Again, it's Coleman. And they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the fourth as it was way back in the first, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Hey, let's go.
And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Back to the ground, this time with Freeman. And he'll take this one up close to the 25-yard line.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive game. Just keep that clock ticking.
Freeman again. Space to maneuver at the 40. And he takes it across the 50 to the 46-yard line. A big run there, 29 yards and a first.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And for one of the first times tonight, he's going to be held up at the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Demarius Randall.
Well, he didn't make headway on that one, but he's had plenty of carries all night long. I just wonder if maybe he's a little bit tired from toting the rock that much.
Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feel like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for the Falcons, it's an ideal start as they move to 3-0 now on the young season. And they'll return home next week to take on the New England Patriots. Meanwhile, for New Orleans, they suffered defeat for the first time as they dropped to 2-1. And they'll get the extra week to think about this one as they return to action in 2 weeks' time. So for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Next game, guess what? Charles and I will be here again. It's the NFL on EA Sports.